But on Sunday, of course, all eyes will be on the track at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the running of NASCAR's longest race, the Coca-Cola 600. NBC Charlotte Sports Director Chris Clark is joining us live tonight from Concord. Hi, Chris.
How you doing there, Sonia? Yeah, we're high atop the infield right now on the Sunbelt Tower watching these Sprint Cup guys go ahead and practice here. And one of the drivers out there with a little bit more to prove, Brad Keselowski. You wouldn't think so. The defending 2012 Sprint Cup champion would still have a chip on his shoulder. Usually champions, you know, they get a little fat, get a little happy. Not literally, but, you know, figuratively, of course. Brad's still a pretty skinny guy. But last weekend, he had a terrible time here at the All-Star race. He broke an engine in that car of his, and he had to dive out after about 3 or 4 laps. It's just not a good omen here. Coming into this race, he says that he knows he's got the fastest car, and he definitely wants to pull a W. It would be his first this season.
And I feel like this is the week to get it done. I feel like we've been very, very fast and very under the radar because we haven't, 1, qualified well, or 2, executed in the race. I think if you sat in my right side seat, which I know there isn't one, but if there was a right side seat in my car and rode with me through the last 2 or 3 mile and a half, you'd go, damn, we're the fastest car out here.
Yeah, definitely. Brad driving with a purpose come Sunday. Coming up later on in sports, we're going to hear more from Brad, Jimmy Johnson. We're going to hear from Danica Patrick, and one driver who's doing his own special thing to help those folks out in Oklahoma. Live at the Speedway, I'm Chris Clark. Back to you, Sonia.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Still ahead here.
About the top of the newscast here, Speed Weeks in Charlotte. It all comes down to this weekend's Coca-Cola 600. And tonight there is pole night qualifying and the Legends All-Star at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And that's where we find Sports Director Chris Clark. You have the headsets on already. Have they started racing?
It is a little loud out here. Even with the cars off the track they just had practice, they're going to fire them up again here shortly to try and figure out who's going to qualify first through 43rd out here. Now, one of the things going on this week, those devastating storms out in the Midwest. I know all the drivers' cars are here and the teams are here, but those storms affected everybody, including Swan Racing owner Brandon Davis. He's from out that way, and what better way to try and help out than to show your support with a NASCAR sticker on the side of his car, and that's exactly what he did. David Strimmy sporting that very, very nice setup to send help and support to those people devastated in those storms on the side of the number 30 Swan Racing machine. The only thing better than see it going around on the track would be to have that car in victory lane sporting that sticker.
Yeah, I'm from Oklahoma originally, so anything we can do to help. My oil company sent porta toilets out there and everything that we can do to try to help them out. We talked to Feed the Children, and we put the sticker on the car and text 80888 to Feed the Children and donate money, help them out. I mean, they need all the help they can get.
They definitely need all the help they can get. Be sure and donate as much as you can. We've got a lot more going on out here. Coming up, when you see me next, I'm going to explain what this is. I know it's a tire, but I'm talking about the rest of it. You'll see. Just tune in. Back to you.
Chris, you got to be careful out there. You must be the best dressed guy out of the Speedway right now.
Hey, look, man. You stay classy, Dave. All right?
All right, you too, right there. All right, be sure to join us tonight.
Car today ahead of the race this weekend. NBC Charlotte Sports Director Chris Clark just got out of the meeting and joins us now from the Speedway. And Chris, this is a pretty special initiative they've just announced.
Yes, it is. A reforming of an initiative. Anyway, you know there's a giant party going out here all weekend long for the troops coming home. And just now, NASCAR and Goodyear came back together again and are going to start the 4th annual Goodyear Gives Back. Now, this is really, really cool. Not only do they have an online auction going on to try to help support our troops.org, but they've got a tent about 100 yards that way where I can actually see people packing up goodie bags. And the best part, if you want to send a postcard to the troops over there, they've given these out. This little postcard, you write whatever you want to on it and send it away, and you can get the message out to these guys. If ever there were 2 organizations that came together to support the military, it's definitely Goodyear and NASCAR. Mike Helton spoke about it just now.
To say loudly, we hope that the men and women that have served in the United States military, that currently serve in the United States military, are not forgotten. They're greatly appreciated, and we do not take their commitment and their families' commitments for granted.
Now, if you go to Goodyear.com/givesback, you'll be able to vote on fire suits. You'll be able to vote on a blimp ride, all kinds of memorabilia, and the best one is right here. We've actually got one. It's a Support Our Troops tire. I'm just going to put my head right through the middle. A Support Our Troops tire and camo around the edge of this thing. Carl Edwards already put $100 up for a brand new one, autographed. So you better get online and get to it fast. Bill, Dion?
Yeah, Chris, that's a good look for you. I'm not going to deny it.
Isn't it though?
It's a good look for you. Right?
Oh, yeah, sexy.
Right. Our NBC Charlotte sports team is going to be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway all weekend, keeping an eye on the action. And don't forget to watch Inside Track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's an NBC Charlotte sports special. That's coming up for you tonight at 9 o'clock.
All right, well, an emotional...
Chris Clark coming to you live from the infield of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. High atop the infield as we're on our Sunbelt Tower out here, overlooking everything. They've got a few cars from the Nationwide Series on the track right now. Cup practice begins in just a few, and one of the guys that's going to need a big run, Brad Keselowski. We shot some video of him earlier. The defending Cup champion. Well, he had some issues last week in the All-Star race. Car trouble knocked him out after about 3 or 4 laps. He doesn't have a win this season. That is never a good thing. And Brad, hoping to get a W this weekend for sure.
Rallying is certainly not an optimal situation. I'd love to just start on the pole and lead every lap. Wouldn't bother me if I started 43rd come Sunday, knowing that I have as fast a race car that I have had over the last few weeks. That if we can just execute, we could overcome that deficit.
Speaking of a guy that's had no such trouble, Jimmy Johnson. He won the event last weekend. Sees a lot of similarities in the strategy, despite that being a shorter race versus this being one of the longest races of the season. Here's Jimmy.
In today's world of racing, when you pull in a victory lane, sure, the driver gets most of the credit for the job done, but it is such a team sport, and there's just as much riding on the success of the car, on pit road and what happens there as there is out on the racetrack.
Danica Patrick in the mix as well, still rolling through her rookie season. This is going to be a 600-mile test, and I mean a test for her. With that many miles, most drivers really consider it a chance to get out on the track, see what's wrong with your car, and then they can fix it. Then they can get better, at least run decent. Danica, she looks at a 600-mile race just the opposite.
It's a long night, so if you're good, you'll be really good, and if you're bad, you'll probably be really bad. So for me, I think what's important is early yellows, work on the car, get it closer, and then be able to go out and race.
And we all know most of these teams based here in North Carolina, but those storms in Oklahoma, they affected everybody in NASCAR as well. To help, David Stremme has got the Oklahoma disaster sticker right there on his car. Owner Brandon Davis, he's from that area, just wants to help out his old community.
Everything that we can do to try to help them out. We talk to Feed the Children, and we put the sticker on the car and text 80888 to Feed the Children and donate money, help them out. I mean, they need all the help they can get.
And it's not all NASCAR. We got some Panthers, too. They're together for OTAs. We got the veterans. We got the rookies. We got the new guys. We got the old guys. It has been a long, long off season. And those guys, especially Greg Hardy, just happy to get back out there and start hitting somebody.
We just trying to get gelling together. Everybody trying to get in the playbook, trying to know their drills and stuff. But it's coming along pretty good, I mean, we got a lot of young, good talent, you know what I'm saying? So them guys showing flashes, but you never know until training camp starts.
That's it from the Speedway. Back with more news right after this.